Your main source for news is the mainstream media. Then you likely already know about the claims by singer Richard Marx that he helped to subdue an unruly passenger on a flight that he was on. His wife, Daisy Fuentes, also posted on Instagram some photos of the incident as it unfolded. You can read all about that at USA Today. Also, a main story at NBC News notes that fentanyl has risen as a cause of drug overdose deaths, doubling in the last year the number of deaths versus the year before. However, heroin remains at the top of the list once again. Also, the Ukrainian reaction to the killing of the Russian ambassador has been, well, let's just say a little controversial. First of all, one of the members of parliament in the Ukraine heralded the person who killed the Russian ambassador as a hero. Meanwhile, the president of Ukraine issued condolences to the families of the victims of the German attack. Remember the truck that plowed into the crowd of people, but said nothing about the death of the Russian ambassador in Turkey. President Putin, appearing in front of a bunch of state workers this week, actually just yesterday, said that we need to stop the promotion of xenophobia and nationalism, not just in Russia, but around the world, and is calling for further cooperation with Western powers in fighting terrorism. Meanwhile, who actually orchestrated the annihilation of the Russian ambassador in Ankara? It's been speculated by some in Russia that it was the United States who was behind it. The Huffington Post notes that Scott Walker has asked Donald Trump for more power over refugee resettlement, specifically going back to his not wanting any Syrians in his state. And there was a shooting in Switzerland in which a gunman apparently opened fire near an Islamic center. His body then found, along with a gun, under a bridge nearby. President Obama has, quote, deprived. What's the word? Well, the headline is Obama deprives U.S. of Arctic. The Pravda notes that Obama, in acting in this way, we'll talk about this again in our Alaska News segment, with President Obama declaring the Arctic off limits to oil drilling, he is now going to be affecting the price of oil in the future and has taken away a major resource for the United States, and it looks like Canada is following suit. In the meantime, the United States has widened sanctions against Russia for what happened in the Ukraine and Crimea. The tennis star Petra Kvitova was attacked in her home, apparently a burglary, got her left hand sliced with a knife. She's undergoing surgery right now. The 26-year-old is recovering. She says she's fortunate to be alive after this potentially career-threatening knife attack. Officials there in the Czech Republic say it appears to be random. In Brazil, what they're calling a black urine disease. It causes pain and numbness and in the limbs, and then you pass black urine. They're calling it a health emergency right now. There have been dozens of cases and more in the last couple of days. They have no idea what it is. They're speculating it might be some kind of virus. In light of the attack in Germany, a train station in Cologne was evacuated after a bomb threat. However, police there on scene said they think it was a false alarm. Meanwhile, the so-called Islamic State, according to the BBC, has claimed responsibility for that German bus or truck attack. And yet, in Germany, the media there says that the actual perpetrator is still at large. So we'll be keeping an eye on those stories as they continue to unfold. I wish we had some better news to share with you, but then again, now you know what's actually really going on instead of just the sunshine and lollipops that you'll get on some of the other mainstream media. Today we've got our Alaska News coming up here, and also our commentary is going to focus a little bit on winter sports. Being as I do live here in Alaska, I like to get out and enjoy ski juring. Have you ever done it? I'll tell you about that sport and how you can be a part of it as well. And if you like what I'm doing, consider becoming a sponsor. You can be a patron at Patreon, or you can be a direct subscriber on my website, radiofreespeech.com. You have a suggestion for me for a commentary? Email me, steve@radiofreespeech.com.